Welcome to the Underground.
Turn me up, bitch!
My Little Underground with Peter A.
Here. Okay, what's the name of the diner?
Tom's Ham and Eggery. Their pancakes. Oh my God.
Really?
That's all I gotta say. Like, you would want to eat it for dinner like I have. Like, I've gone there and had breakfast for dinner. You could have breakfast all day long.
Love it.
It's incredible.
In Westbury.
It's in Westbury, yeah.
Okay.
Westbury, Carl Place, because Long Island, a lot of the towns border each other.
Yeah.
So, like, one block you could be in Westbury, the next block you could be in Garden City, another block you could be in Carl Place.
Okay.
It's very, yeah.
Okay. Wait, I think I can find the name of the place that I was taken to. Hold on, I think my friend put a picture up. It was so freaking good.
Yeah.
What levels?
Slightly closer to the mic. I'm just move it in. So, yeah. Cool. You just do a little more talking before you actually do the intro, so I can.
Yeah, that's cool.
Just get that level.
Hildenbrandts. Have you heard of it?
What is it? It's a restaurant?
It's an old dine. See, like, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That's in Long Island.
Where?
I don't know. I'm gonna find out.
Hildenbrandts.
That's the place in
Hildenbrandts?
Do you know it?
Yeah, it's in Williston Park. That's
Williston Park. Oh.
That was in what's that movie? The Irishman.
Oh, was it?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
shit.
you've been here.
I haven't been there. I've
Okay.
seen it, though.
It's amazing.
Down. Hildenbrandts.
I'm gonna turn on the air actually. Hold on.
Oh my God.
East Williston Park. That's pretty close to me. Probably like 20 minutes from me.
Oh, you must go. It's like a proper like soda fountain.
What?
Oh, it's beautiful.
okay,
Yeah, it's like
okay.
I was the happiest person ever when we went there. I was
That's
like, I
so
just need to hang
great.
out in diners on Long Island.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great place to eat. And it's not as expensive as eating like Brooklyn or the boroughs.
Oh, exactly. You
Yeah.
get good food, like old style,
Yep.
booths and.
Yeah.
I'm ready to sing.
Level 46 of My Little Underground. I'm Peter A. And you could subscribe any podcast platform you got, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get podcasts. You can follow me Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. It's Peter_A. Follow the show as well at MLU Pod on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook as well. And I have a radio personality, music lover, record collector extraordinaire, the host of Sophisticated Boom Boom, WFMU Fridays, 3 to 6 p.m., Sheila B.
So psyched to
Welcome.
be here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy that you're here.
I can sense your enthusiasm for what you do, and
Yes!
I share that. So we're kindred spirits.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm listening to you. I'm like, yo, she loves what she's doing.
I love
You know what I mean?
what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just playing music and just talking about it. It's like it's exhilarating because I've done what you've done before. It's just whatever's going on in your life, it does not matter because it's all about what the record that you're gonna play next. That's the stresses that you have. You know what I mean? What are you gonna play next? You know?
Yep.
But I want to talk about you a little bit before we dig into your show
Okay.
and some other things that I've always wanted to ask you about pop music in general.
Yeah.
You were an A&R at Xenomania?
Yeah,
What's that?
Xenomania.
Xenomania. Okay, what is that?
So when I moved to the UK for the second time in
Yes.
2007, and there's a production company called Xenomania, and they were writing the music and producing the music for two of the top girl bands based in the UK. One is Girls Aloud, the other is Sugar Babes. And the head of the company actually got his start by writing Believe for Cher.
What?
Yeah. So that was like his in. So that became like the mega selling record of God knows, forever. And so he started this company and brought in writers and, lyricists, melody writers, engineers, the whole works. And we were based in this old, like ancient house, like 45 minutes outside of London. So I commuted to the countryside of England for my job. And so he decided that he wanted to like build a whole new roster of acts. And so I was brought in to kind of put together a girl group, to find a rock band. It was really like the most unbelievable job. Like, Sheila, go around the world and find artists, bring them here, and we will write the music and produce the music for them. So that's what I did for about 3.5 years.
What groups did you put together?
Well,
or discover?
This is
whatever.
the thing. So
Yeah.
we put together quite a big roster, and only really one of them saw the light of day, and that was a group called Mini Viva, who started as a girl group, 4 members, whittled down to a duo. And they released a record in 2009 called Left My Heart in Tokyo. And that became a top 10 hit Europe-wide. And so that was it. We had like found our group. We put them together. It all worked out. Mega hit. And then the whole thing imploded. And then I left. And I won't go into the dirty details, but it was bad. And I was like, get me out of this place, you know.
And you spent some time in Japan,
yes.
too, right?
Yeah, before that, I moved to Tokyo in 2003. And I moved because I studied Japanese in college. I love Japanese music. It's like my heart gets like expands when I hear Japanese music. And so I wanted to learn the language. And then I moved there to, get better at the language, to work and to find old school Japanese records, which is what I spent most of my time doing.
Wow. So you're a crates digger.
Big time. Oh my God. I picked up that habit like at age 18 and have not stopped. And it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You worked for MTV Japan as a columnist?
Yeah, I was doing a column for them once a month but that's when I came back to the U.S. And so I was writing about what was happening in like the New York kind of live music scene and, what bands I kind of recommended from, my apartment in Brooklyn.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I would write it in like kind of the best Japanese I could, and they would fix it a little bit. But I think they liked the idea that like a Japanese, speaker and writer could kind of write a column in their language about American music.
Do you know the band Tricot?
Yeah, I do, and I've actually just been listening to them a little bit lately.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah,
they're so cool. I think they're putting out a new album.
Yeah, that's where I like picked up on them.
They have such a unique sound, mixing like math rock and some pop together. I love that.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's funny you mentioned them. I think it was like last week that they maybe released a new single. I was like, let me listen to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know about Caro Caro Bonito?
I love Caro Caro Bonito.
Oh, me too.
They are brilliant.
Yes.
I had a weird experience with them though, because I love them on record. And when I went to London a couple of years ago, I saw them live and it was like a metal show, and not in a good way because I love metal, and I actually left the gig. I'm like, this is not the Caro Caro Bonito I know and love. It was like super thrashy and just, it wasn't like those great pop songs that I had remembered. And then their new album came out. I was like, oh, I get it. Like some of these songs are like that, but then they, retain their pop element on the rest of the record. So anyway,
I think
just
Bonito Generation is a brilliant album.
Oh my God.
It's so beautiful.
So beautiful. Those
melodies. Yes. Like Fishbowl.
Yes.
And it's only like a minute long. It's so beautiful. It's so great.
And they're doing pretty well. I mean, they're selling out when they come to the U.S. So, yeah, it's like pure J-pop fun.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like some of their newer singles that they just put out recently has less of that brightness silliness and quirkiness that I love. But, I'm all about artist evolution. So I'm going to, before I analyze, I want to see where they're going, and then we judge from afar.
Right. I thank you for saying artist evolution, because I talk about this a lot. The idea there's so many people that want their bands to stay the same, and how I think vital it is for anybody creative just to keep moving, because that's what life is, right? It's constant change, and if you don't embrace that, I feel like there's just stagnation. And although we I wish certain bands had made like the same record that I know and love, but like say Caro Caro Bonito, I really love the idea that they're writing now songs about climate change. I mean, writing kind of dark, new agey pop songs about climate change. That's so different from where they started. So evolution, yes. Yeah.
And I think on their last album, they went in a different direction that was like moody and kind of just not underwhelming in a bad way, just not just right in your face and bombastic.
Yeah.
But I really like that. But at first, when I first heard it, it was like, okay, this is kind of like not what I'm used to, but I appreciate what they were doing.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, again, I'm very excited to see what they have next.
Me too.
So like in your travels internationally, what are you noticing from like a music culture standpoint from different countries? Does that make any sense? Like from how people listen to music or going to shows in Tokyo or in the UK? What are you noticing? What sticks out to you?
What sticks out to me? I guess when I was growing up, we were kind of confined to what we knew and liked. And now that everything is so vast and like you can just pick from the past and the present and from multi-genre. So I feel like the blending is just everywhere, and there's no fun. There's no like boxes that we used to put ourselves in, you know, like younger people growing up now are not like, well, I'm a punk fan, so I would never listen to, you know, Billie Eilish. Do you know what I mean? Now I feel like all of those things are just gone. All the borders are gone. It's kind of a free for all, which I think is good. And so I think everyone's just mixing and matching in ways that they haven't done before. But I think it's also been around for a while. I mean, that idea. So what have I noticed? I mean, can you be more specific? Because it's kind of broad, and I'm trying to think.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
Yeah.
So, for example, let's say you go to a concert in New York and you go to a concert in Tokyo. What are you noticing about how the people are reacting to the music? Because usually the stereotype of New York now is everyone just stands still and just kind of just applauds lightly.
Yeah.
But when you've been, you know, to different countries, what are you seeing over there?
Well, in Tokyo, people just go nuts,
yeah.
You know, and I love the enthusiasm. That's why actually I feel that I moved to London and Tokyo specifically, because those are, to me, are music capitals. Those are places of such deep appreciation for art artistry in a way that I don't think, I mean, New York has it too, but say outside of New York, those are the two places. Just complete adoration, waiting outside to meet the bands. You know, in Tokyo especially, there are a lot of, when I was, you know, seeing these J-pop artists, there were certain hand motions that people would do, which was really cool. So like in a certain song, like everyone would kind of like twist their hand together, you know, at the artist. So kind of uniform, which part of it's amazing, and then there's another part of it's a bit frightening. It's a little bit like, you know, listen to the leader and do whatever they say, you know, like certain hand motions, you're like, whoa. But here's another thing that I'm noticing in New York is the amount of international bands that are touring and doing so well. Like I went to see this band L'Imperatrice, who I loved. I saw them last May at Elsewhere in Brooklyn. The 2 sold-out shows. I mean, no one's heard of L'Imperatrice, you know, thankfully because of Spotify and things like that. You know, it's kind of, you know, getting over to our part of the world, and people were losing their friggin' minds. The last time I saw like a crowd losing their minds, I kid you not, was NSYNC at Nassau Coliseum, because I used to follow Britney and NSYNC and Backstreet Boys because I love all the Swedish writers behind those bands, and I couldn't even hear NSYNC because the girls were screaming so loud. At L'Imperatrice at Elsewhere last summer, people were screaming so loud that I couldn't even friggin' hear the band. So I think enthusiasm is like really high. I think that, you know, openness to music that's not in English. I think all of those things are like are current and wonderful right now.
So, you know, when you're going to these shows, like, you know, in London or Tokyo and Japan, like you said, people are losing their minds and going crazy. So what are you noticing about like some of the people that you might have met at the shows? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Is there anything different? Because when I go to a show in New York, sometimes either people have nothing to say to you, have everything to say to you. You know what I mean? Because I've only been to shows here, so I don't know how people are, you know, the fans are acting. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I feel it depends on who you are as a person. If you're somebody that can strike up conversations with those around you and enthuse about what you're about to see, then everyone will chat. I mean, in Tokyo, I would have chats with people next to me like, I can't believe I'm seeing Chara live. And they'd be like, you've never seen her live? I was like, this is my first time. And they're like, how do you know her? Blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, say in London, it's the same thing. You're just kind of chatting about the bands. And another thing I'm noticing is also like a real variety in ages, like in the crowd. Like say I went to see this band that I loved originally from Australia, now based in London, called Geowolf, really like perfect pop song. So I saw them at Mercury Lounge, and the crowd was like so diverse. I mean, there was like kids that were wasted and like screaming how much they loved the band. Then there was a guy that looked like he was like in his 80s who was at the front with his camera. And I was talking to all the people around me, and we were all, you know, a lot of people were saying, oh, I found them on Spotify, or they were in a Corona commercial. And, you know, I know, right? So it was just, I think it's really easy to chat with people when you have this shared love, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what music does. So that's why I almost never worry about getting older and life, because I will always have this. And like wherever we go in the world, you will, you know, and you go and see a band, you will find your people. You know? Isn't that comforting?
Yes, it is. It's very, very comforting.
Yeah.
You went to see that show at Elsewhere. Was it the Hall or Zone 1? Where was it?
The main.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Elsewhere.
It's beautiful.
And also has a little bit of a slope, so wherever you watch from, you can see.
Yeah.
That's why I like it.
Yeah. I think they used to be, the last time I went there, there used to be this like kind of this barrier of sorts where people can, go away from like the main floor.
Right,
I think they knocked that out. So yeah, it's much
just
wider.
so wide open and beautiful.
Yeah.
They do a good job.
Have you ever been to the show on the rooftop?
I have, yeah. That's really nice.
Amazing.
But all the bands I want to see are playing in the main space, so it's like more bands I want to see when I want them to play on the roof.
It's like a music mall elsewhere because there's so many
is.
different shows happening at the same time.
So great, yeah.
I went to see
Music
Sir
venues.
Baby Girl at the rooftop.
I don't know Sir Baby Girl.
Oh, you would love Sir Baby Girl.
Really?
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, you will. Yeah.
Okay, I got to write this down after.
Oh my God. Her pops. She makes the most beautiful pop songs.
Really?
Oh man. Yeah.
all right.
Former guest on the show. She was amazing.
Okay, good to know.
And she sold it out too. She gets all, not just she has a lot of LGBTQ fans too. All those people came out and just everyone in between. It was just an amazing experience to see live and talk to her. She was amazing too.
Right. I love when you go to a show and it's like all types of people. Like the more diverse, the better. I just feel so at home with just like everybody.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
At home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Record stores. Mm-hmm. So in your travels internationally, what are some of like the best record stores you've been to? London, Japan, or here in the States?
I mean, sadly, all of my favorite record stores are gone. That is the tragedy of what has happened. I mean, that's just, that was eBay and Discogs that put a lot of them to bed. I know in New York a lot, new record stores keep popping up, which is a beautiful thing. But there was a record store just outside of Tokyo. I'd take a train there. It's like 45 minutes into the suburbs, like next to a McDonald's, this like tiny little like hole in the wall, just dedicated to Japanese female pop artists.
Are you serious?
I'm like, how specialized can this get? And like, how is there a record store like in the suburbs of Tokyo made for me? I spent hours there and I was just so blissed out and so happy. It was a joy. And I found so many of my best records there. Then in another place where I lived in Tokyo, in Nishi Shinjuku, which is one of like a main hub, there was a record store called Baby Pop, which is like on the 5th floor of a business, building. And that was dedicated to French pop. So it's like, it's such a weird thing.
Stereolab.
Right. So the amazing thing about Tokyo and the record shops is like they're not storefronts necessarily. You have to go into like, say, a 20-floor building. You go to the 15th floor, there's like, 10 different offices on each floor. And in one of those offices, you open the door and it's a record shop. So just that experience is so fun because it's like not what we know, right? We're used to a storefront record shop. So I love that about Tokyo. So Baby Pop, this special female Japanese store. In London, there was a place in Croydon, again, right outside of London, called Beano's, which was like 4 floors. And they had like every hit single you could ever want, right? So if you're a DJ and you're like, I need to get like a Janet Jackson, top, what have you done for me lately, right? I need that on 45, like tonight. You can go to Beano's and like get that. And then they also had really specialized stuff. And there was this older man there who looked like a wizard because he had this really long white beard and he was kind of intimidating and he was very cool and like a man of few words. And he would just stand behind the counter and he was the one that like presided over the rare 45 boxes. So I'd be like, sir, can I please see your 60s British girl singer boxes? And he'd like look at me, turn around, get these big metal boxes, bring them out for me. And I would find like the best rare 45. So that's another spot that was like, very dear to my heart in my formative years.
So I want to dig inside your record collection.
Yeah.
So what is the rarest record in your collection?
Oh, goodness me. I sound so British saying that. Well, I have a record by a Turkish teenager who grew up in Israel, and her name is Grazia, and she released a record in the late 70s that her father basically put her in the studio and made this amazing psychedelic funk disco record. And when I went to Israel, I was a friend of mine. We were in this tiny record shop Israel has some great record stores, by the way. Wow. And so in this tiny record shop, and my friend is flipping through this, and he's like, Sheila, I think you would like this. He pulls up the Grazia record. I'm like, that's the Grazia record. So I'm like freaking out. And it's very expensive. I mean, I think it was like $400. I usually don't pay that much money for one record. And I said, will you keep it for me? Can I just sleep on it? Because I'm going to have to spend this much money on a record. I really need to know if that this is the right thing. So I went home. I went back to our Airbnb, slept on it, couldn't sleep because I was like, I have to get it. Went back the next day. And now that is the prized record in my collection. So that record and a record by Brunetta, an Italian singer called Baluba Shake. It's a 45 that I won on eBay. And that's a very hard to find record. So, yeah.
What is the oldest record in your collection?
As in, when it was made, or when I got it, like I've had it for the longest, or when it, what do you mean, oldest? Both. Okay. I guess the oldest record for me, I mean, that has been with me forever was probably Michael Jackson's Thriller, because I got that when it came out.
I have it too.
It's and it's
yeah,
I'm putting my hands up in the air to worship the ground that record was made on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's been with me the longest. And just a side note to thank my amazing parents, who at the age, I think when that record came out, I was 6. They took me to see Michael Jackson at Madison Square Garden. What? So I saw the Thriller tour. So yeah, okay. So that's been with me the longest, right? I don't have any 78s because I'm not a 78s collector. So I think maybe something from the late 50s is probably the oldest because if you're a 78 collector, you can go back to the 30s, 20s, 30s, but I don't have any of that stuff.
That's on Shellac.
On
right?
Shellac, yeah. I've been tempted to move into that arena, but I thought if I start collecting 78s, forget about it. I'm already have the obsessive compulsive collection addiction that 78 collecting will just make it worse, and it will put me in an even stranger category, you know? Because collecting 45s, say 20 years ago, it was cool. Now, say people in their teens and 20s look at a 45 and they think it's ancient. So 78s are even more ancient.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So I want to talk about your show, Sophisticated Boom Boom.
Yes.
So how did you begin that? How long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it for almost 5 years now. Yeah.
5 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
I started in May of 2015.
Oh.
I came to it very fortunately. I had I've always grown up with the idea that everyone else can do amazing things and I can't, right? That's just been my way. Radio, I could never get into radio. Writing music, I could never write music. That's for other people. That's too amazing for me. It's a very weird thing to have. So I was always the enthusiast of championing artists and so collecting the records. And then I got an email from the former music director at FMU saying, listen, we're opening ourselves up to new DJs potentially. We know that you're a big record collector and champion of music. Would you be interested in making a demo? And I'm like, radio? Me? I've never done radio. I don't think I could, I'm not sure, but sure, I'll give it a try, whatever. Always thinking I could never do this. And then did the demo and got approved for a 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. show, which was unbelievable. And I thought, I can sit here for 3 hours and play my favorite records for those out there. Wow. And that's it. I feel like it is the greatest privilege. I feel like I'm going to the church of music every week and finding a way to connect people to these sounds that have really changed my life in the most beautiful of ways.
Do you ever feel hindered by FCC regulations when you're playing records?
If there, sometimes there will be songs with a chorus that will, I can say the word here, right?
Say whatever you want, yeah.
Liz Phair's Fuckin' Run. I love that record. Fuckin' Run is one of my favorite records. I can't play Fuckin' Run on my show because it's Fuckin' Run in the chorus. So I feel hindered that I can't play my favorite Liz Phair track. But say most songs that I play, because I'm dealing with pop music where it's not filled with curse words. I don't have an issue because, say like a Lizzo record will have like shit in it and I can just put a little like twinkling sound over shit and then, be okay. So no, that's, I'm fortunate to not be a total hip hop head because otherwise that would be very limiting and that would be sad.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was painful for me.
Yeah.
It's painful to do that. Even some some indie rock records, like, damn it, why do you have to say that? Now I can't play this, but this record is amazing.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no, like, when I was doing radio, like, I was always finding, I was always playing some stuff that was like service to me, and I would get like FCC clean stuff. But then there'll be this obscure song over here, no radio edits, not service through radio, nothing like that. But it's like a really great song. But I can't play it because, I can play it, but I don't want to spend 4 or 5 hours editing all these songs just to play it for, you know what I mean?
I know, it's so sad.
It's a drag.
Even like Lana Del Rey's record, which I just, I got the radio clean versions. It's like, it's just like bleeped out and like the song makes no sense. It's just really sad.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It's like, I don't know. That whole idea is so bizarre, that we can show so much violence, yet like fuck is like, or like Janet Jackson's boob. Like, oh my God, the horror.
I was listening to a podcast with Artie Lang from the Howard Stern Show.
Right.
And he was talking about when that happened, CBS was like under fire from the FCC and they tried to like, it changed everything.
It's so awful.
Oh my God.
It is
just
so
a
stupid.
A woman's boob.
I
That's
know.
it.
It's like, yeah. And then you think of what else is on, gets shown all the time. It's like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, anything like that's really like about life and, I don't know, natural, like we're so afraid of, but like violence violence is natural too, I guess. But, it's just a very odd world that we live in, the kind of prudishness. But it goes back to, religion, and the prudishness is still with us, and as it is in many societies, like, I don't know, like raunch and like porn is somehow okay, but like, talking like a boob, like natural, is like,
Yeah.
And that's a whole other topic.
Yeah. that's a whole another podcast.
But the Megan Thee Stallion album I wanted to play on my show, and then it's just like the clean versions are just so,
I heard a new song she did with Normani, Diamonds, for the
Oh yeah, I just listened to that too.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
it's
really
good.
good. Yeah.
She put out another song too. It's called Bitch, I think.
Okay.
It was cool, but not as good as Diamonds, but it was fine.
Yeah. Bitch I can say on my show.
Yeah, I think
Bitch,
that's one
ass, those are all fine, right? It's really like fucking shit.
Yeah, those are the
And you can't
safe
talk,
harbor words.
Yeah, and then you can't talk about like defecation and stuff, I think. Right? I think that's a rule. Something like that. Like I couldn't be like, I'm going to go pee.
I don't think you'll get fined.
No, but I think
that.
that's not that's something that's like banned. I think. I can't remember the exact details.
I think if you say like, I'm going to whip out my penis and start peeing, I think that's bad.
Oh, I see.
But just saying, I have to go pee, I don't
that's
think that's a problem.
okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah, because it's not like obscene.
Right,
Just saying,
right.
yeah,
That's true.
Pee.
Yes. I'm glad we're discussing the finite details of the FCC.
Yeah. Speaking of Liz Phair,
Yeah.
I've been listening to Supernova on repeat. I love that tune so much.
Yeah, I don't know her. That like it's really that first record, Exile in Guyville, that I was obsessed with. But I just bought her book, Horror Stories.
Really? That must be interesting.
So I'm excited to start reading it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was so she didn't care.
No.
She did not care. Like she would talk about her sex life openly.
Yeah.
And the Supernova is about, fantasizing about having sex with a dude. And it's great. I love it. I think it's very entertaining.
Yeah, she's very herself.
Yeah. So again, about your show, do you ever feel like pigeonholed about what you're doing on your show, like the style of music you're playing, or do you ever feel like you're not playing enough of something, or you're kind of falling into monotony? Do you ever feel that way?
I'm always worried about that, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and I check that because, my tagline for my show is female-fronted pop music from the past, present, and future, and all over the globe, and the occasional man.
Love that.
And so,
I love that line.
all over the globe implies that I'm really going to go all over. And when I started the show, I favored the countries that I do favor naturally, which is Japan, France, U.S., U.K. And then it started to be really apparent to me that, I can only do a 3-hour show once a week on this kind of stuff for so long. I'm going to get bored. So let me start learning more. So it was a real tool to dig into places that I hadn't dug into fully. So say a lot of stuff from Nigeria, which I liked, but I never explored in the way that I explore now, or stuff from the Middle East or stuff from Mexico. A listener actually kind of insulted me on my comments board and said, like, this show, like you claim to be so international, but I hear very few Latin artists on your show. And I thought, oh, that's so great that he kind of lashed out at me in that way. Like, it hurt, because you don't want to be insulted, and it was kind of said in a meaner tone. But I said, he's absolutely right. Like, I need to explore more Latin music, and opened me up to one of my favorite artists, who is Natalia Lafourcade, this Mexican singer. And I was like, thank God for this, So I always want to make sure that I'm touching upon places, as many places as I can. So when I come in with the more diverse, the better. The more countries I'm touching upon, the better. The more styles I'm touching upon, the better. But I also always stay within what I think is good. So I'm not a big country fan. I've never been. And so you're not going to hear a lot of country music on Sophisticated Boom Boom, because it's just, I can only be true to what I enjoy. That's what my show is. It's not about representing everything, because it has to come through. I'm the filter here, So there are a lot of genres that's like, or say like, a lot of like modern female hip hop I don't play because I don't know a lot about it and I don't love it. But say like, MC Lyte and, Queen Latifah, like I love. So you'll hear that on my show. So there will be certain pockets of things that I don't play a lot of, or say like a lot of like ambient stuff. There's a lot of female composers making ambient music, but melody is so important to me, and vocal melodies. So if it's going to be instrumental, I'm not going to be likely to be giving it a big platform. But within what I like, I'm very strict about bringing in as much as diversity as possible.
I think there's a few female hip hop artists I think you would love.
Okay.
Do you know Rhapsody?
No.
Oh.
Okay. See,
no.
I would educate me. I mean, I'm so always open to hearing things that I don't, because I guess, say like MC Lyte and Queen Latifah and, Roxanne Shante, there was such a cheekiness to it. And it was really, and there was always like these great kind of melodic musical things going on in the background. And I guess what I feel like some of like the more current stuff, it's just a little too raunchy and in your face. Like there's not a lot of room for subtlety. So I love like this, not in hip hop, but say in R&B, like Aaliyah. Like I loved her because there was so much space and so much subtlety and so much like sexiness that was so laid back. And I feel like I want that laid back stuff. Everything right now is really like, Pam, like take that, And I'm like, whoa. You're like Megan Thee Stallion is so like fascinating and brilliant, but she just takes you and like punches you with what she does. And to me, it's just a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Do
you, well, speaking of Rhapsody, she wrote a song about Aaliyah, and it's amazing. It's, oh my God.
Okay.
Amazing. It'll shivers down your spine.
Okay. Check. Rhapsody. What was the other one?
Sir Baby Girl.
Sir Baby Girl. Okay.
Yeah. And then there's Jean Grey. You know Jean Grey?
I do, and I don't love her.
I love Jean Grey.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's just not melodic enough for me. It's I get it as like a wordsmith.
And she can sing too.
Yeah, I know. It didn't click for me.
She did an album with her fiance last year called Everything Is Fine.
That's the one I listened to.
Really?
I loved it.
You didn't love it?
No.
I loved it. I loved it so much. The concept was so cool.
Yeah. No, it's just musically I didn't love it. And
it's very wordy.
Yeah,
I mean,
for me it's all about music. It's like musical in the sense of melody. Yeah.
Oh, then you'll love Rhapsody. She has a lot of that.
Yeah.
She's a wordsmith as well, but there's a whole lot of melody going on.
Right.
Like a lot of it.
Yeah, like No Name I love.
No Name's incredible.
Right, because she brings the words and the melodies, and just her voice. I'm like, I just want to melt. It's like butter.
It's like a jazz record. You're listening to jazz.
Exactly.
Amazing.
So I like that, that kind of more left field. I mean, that she to me is really one of the most interesting. And then another artist that I discovered from a wonderful FMU DJ named Monica Lynch, who used to run Tommy Boy Records.
Wow.
She introduced me to a girl named Leica
47.
47.
Yeah, she's cool. Mm-hmm.
Love her stuff.
Do you know Raven Lenae?
Yes.
I think
my God,
played
that
on your
Sticky
show before.
record.
Yeah.
Love that record.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Yeah, beautiful.
She did a song with No Name too.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, Montego Bay.
Ah,
it's so
good
great.
title.
It's brilliant. Do you know Kalela?
Don't love Kalela.
You don't love Kalela?
No.
Oh my
God. And I wanted to love, because what she, everything she represents, I would like, but musically, it just doesn't do it for me.
You didn't like Frontline?
I can't even remember what. I mean, I listened intently, you know.
My God.
Yeah. No, I give
you gotta-
everybody
yeah.
a real chance, and if it doesn't move me, I'm just not going to bring it. You know, I'm not.
I
gonna,
get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
I have to honor that. You know, that I'm the vessel for this show.
Of course.
So.
Of course. I mean, it's your show. At the end of the day.
Yeah.
But what about Cardi B? What do you think of Cardi B?
Oh, I love her stuff.
She's incredible.
Incredible. And
She
it's
has-
so fun, and what like the her cheekiness is just the best, and she's just so adorable.
She has a good ear for melody too.
She does.
Yeah, a lot of great songs.
Yeah, I haven't played actually anything. I don't think or maybe I've played one song by her. Yeah, I haven't played a lot of her, but I don't know why. It's
Yeah.
a very good. Yeah, she's top.
Do you know Kehlani?
Don't love her either.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man, I love her. I think she's so great. Beautiful voice.
Yeah.
Beautiful voice.
Yeah. Just
Rosalia.
the songs. Oh, Aaliyah.
No, Rosalia.
Oh, Rosalie. What, the Spanish?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I play her all the time.
She's incredible.
She's incredible.
Oh man,
yeah.
that voice.
Wow, and just like the bringing that flamenco
Oh,
sound. I mean,
man.
she's massive now.
Magic.
Yeah.
It's magic.
Yeah. She just released a new single yesterday that I was going to play on my show, and then I
Gorgeous.
didn't have time.
Such a gorgeous song.
Yeah, all that kind of.
Yeah. It's like
Castanets.
I'm in a Spanish forest,
Oh.
you know, in 1590. You know what I
Love
mean?
Rosalie. I bet she brings it live too.
Yeah, she always sells out every time she comes to New York.
Yeah, I know. I've
Always.
never been able to see her.
I know, because she always sells out.
Yeah.
You know, at work, there's a coworker of mine. We both love Rosalia, and every time she comes here, I'm like, oh, she's here, but it's sold out already.
Yeah.
So it's damn. You know what I mean? We missed the boat. Your single of the week.
Yeah.
So, what is the criteria, and what is the source that you pull from to, you know, for your single of the week for the segment?
So I never know my single of the week until I start working on my show that week.
Okay.
So, and I usually like it to be something new, but if it's not, the requirement is, does this blow my mind? Did I just listen to it and think, oh my God, that's the greatest thing ever, right? Or, it's like, okay, well, there's nothing new, and I just, pulled out this old record from 1966 from the UK that I've had in my collection for years. Oh my God, this is so worthy. That will be my single of the week. So I never know where it's going to come from, but I feel it always anchors my show, because there has been times, actually only a handful, where it's Thursday afternoon when I'm preparing and I don't have a single of the week and I haven't heard anything that's blown my mind, and I feel like my show is really disjointed then. I'm like, wait, nothing's excited me, because the minute I hear something that excites me, like all of my, I guess, senses like are more open, and I feel like I do a better show because of the excitement. So there are times when I'm like, I'm listening to new music for like 4 or 5 hours trying to find new things, and nothing has excited me. I feel like I'm like wilting, and I get panicky about my show. I feel like kind of like, oh, like I feel sick, and then all of a sudden I'll hear something and I'm like, bang, it's almost like a battery recharge. Like sometimes I'll be in like the red, like 10%, and I just need something to kind of, give it to me. And then I'm like, something like a single of the week will put me 100%. And then I'm like, now I'm ready to do my show.
Yeah.
It sounds so weird because it's all energy, and it's all like I'm such a feeling person. So if like something that, listen to things for 4 hours and nothing does it, and then something is so beautiful and is done with such talent, or whatever it is that they've brought into the song, I will feel it 100%. Like, that is a song with integrity. Those are people whoever wrote this, whatever their intention was, they've put their magic in it. And when they haven't put their magic in it, I can hear it.
So how do you discover new music?
I'm sitting online, and I have a million blogs that I go through. I get tons of emails from radio PR people that, say, you might love this, just like random listeners telling me things that they love, going to a restaurant and like here, my ears are always out, like, asking the maitre d', like, what's this? You have to find out for me. He's like, oh, it's just on a mix. I'm like, no, I really need to know. If I don't know, I can't. That's the worst thing, when like you hear something amazing and you can't find out who it is. That kills me. So I have antennas all over me, like trying to find, new things.
So I'm the same way. Every day I have Pitchfork open,
Yeah.
I have Stereo Gum open. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to whatever, whatever pool I'm on. Are you on any record pools that you get every week?
No,
okay.
I'm not.
Yeah. So there's that. There's going to shows, saving for the opening act.
Yes, exactly. Opening act. That's always a good thing.
And asking people, so what are you listening to now? It's that simple,
Yeah. I love it. I love recommendations from people, because that means it's come from, someone is excited about something and they want to share it with you. So I've always find that a lot of recommendations are great, where it's like, filtering through a lot of blog stuff, you're just kind of like, ugh, because people just throw anything up.
Yeah.
And everyone's making music because we're in a place now where like you can make music so easily and so cheaply, and that creates a lot of mediocrity. So I am going through a lot of mediocre crap.
Oh yeah, you have to,
and that's painful.
Yeah, you have to go through the crap to get to the gold.
Yeah, I would say I listen to probably around like 20 hours of new music a week to put a 3-hour show together.
Yeah,
I mean, plus my old stuff.
That's challenging. That's
is.
very, very challenging. I think you have a very because again, going into like the older stuff, there's something to finding like undiscovered gems as well, but always keeping that mentality. This is how I move about music.
Yeah.
You have the new stuff that's coming out, which I'm always prepared for. Then there's like the weird stuff from like the 60s that no one's ever, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of this Puerto Rican band I found out about maybe 2 years ago on the day of the Puerto Rican Day Parade? I was doing a show. The band is called Descanset.
No.
Yeah, they're from Puerto Rico. They have they're a garage band. One album.
Yeah.
One song floated on YouTube, and a vinyl that's, I don't know how to get it or where to get it. It's
amazing.
Really good.
Really?
I like it. I think it's cool because I want to see like what my people are playing this kind of music that I listen to now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah. No, I mean, undiscovered gems, from the past, like that's my bread and butter, So I like to do, it's like I want to honor the artists that are making music now because there's nothing like the present, but also just digging into the past. I mean, that's what my show is. It's a fusion of new and old, like from the 20s till today. From like the day of release.
And I think there's something too about older records that age very well. Because I was really curious because I love Nirvana. So I was curious to see if Bleach still, will age very well.
Yeah,
and
how does it sound?
Oh, great.
Great, I
still
bet it
great.
does.
It's still great.
Yeah.
Floyd the Barber still hits the way it should hit. You know what I mean?
I mean, talk about a band that was just like filled with integrity and magic. I mean, they just... Oh.
Stereolab's albums 20, 30 years ago still blows my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're almost timeless. Just the what they bring to their productions.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
So I want to ask one of the main reasons why I brought you on here, because over the last couple of years, I've been really trying to not really investigate, but trying to like understand pop music and what it means and what it means to different people. Because, when I was in high school, early college years, that was kind of like my snob period. Because everything sucks and blah, 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 blah. Nothing is real. Everything is pop, mainstream, whatever that means.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But my favorite album is Bad.
Right.
I've always listened to Bad every stage of my life, and that's a big pop record. Michael Jackson's the king of pop, right? So I didn't understand. Looking back, I don't understand my snobbery because I always love pop records. I'm always looking for melody.
Yeah.
So I guess, my first question in this realm, what is pop music to you and how can you define it? And can you define it? Oh. I threw a lot at you right now.
I mean, that's a very hard word to define. I mean, pop is short for popular.
Yes.
And I believe popularity comes out of melody. Because I feel it's like like a Beatles record that I can just hum a cappella and you get it, right? Where you can't really do that with a lot of other types, say like rhythmic music. It's very different. So I think melody finds a way, kind of can connect to our emotional life, our inner emotional life somehow. I mean, it when you say listen to Smooth Criminal. It's like, Eddie, are you okay? When you hear that melody, I mean, I almost like just singing that. I feel my body, right? I feel like so.
God damn it.
Right? So I think that therefore that feeling and us wanting that feeling, whatever brain chemicals it induces, leads to popularity. You want more of it, like Yesterday by the Beatles, right? Just these kind of songs are just like, So I believe, like, my definition of pop music is melody, and I think there's as much as there is a very pure love of melody, and I think you can see this with kids because there's no snobbery when you're a child. You just don't even know what that means, right? You are just you are open as a child, and as we grow up, we start to shut down because of society, right? So, but a child is not going to be impressed with something that is kind of cool. It's all about can they connect with it melodically. And so that is essentially to me like pop music, which is why, say, as a 5-year-old, like Michael Jackson really resonated with me. Madonna really resonated with me. They made great pop records. But then as we get older and we start to put all these kind of protections around us to survive essentially, which is to being kind of having thick skin, being a bit tough, being a bit laid back, blasé, all of these things that stop us from being vulnerable. Those protections, I think, keep out the joy of pop music. And I think the more that you have those protections around you, the more you're going to be into that's not cool, man. And I think men have a harder time with this because I feel like men are very much kind of expected to be much more blasé and cool about things than women are. So it's like women, and therefore then pop music becomes associated with women. It's like, oh, Britney Spears, she's so pop, and the men kind of look down on that. And then you have this whole culture of cool versus pop, and then which can also be cool is with the man, pop is with the woman, and then these kind of wars a little bit. And I just think it's all bullshit. And I think to get rid of our protections and remain vulnerable and open to the joys of melody and pop, I think lead to an ultimately a happier life. And I hope that we can all do that we can all, find ways to let pop music in, but good pop music. There's a lot of bad pop music. There's a lot of pop music made solely with money in mind, and I think there has to be both. Again, in the 60s, it's about talent and commercial, potential. And there's also people making just crap pop records. So you also have to have an ear to know what's, or not even ear, a heart to feel what's the real deal and what's not. So that's a very long answer of what pop music is and why, the idea of snobbery. Snobbery is protection. Snobbery is a way we say stay cynical, stay blasé, because then no one can hurt you,
From a melody
Yeah.
perspective, is there a single identifying factor to a pop record when you hear a melody? Does that make sense? When you hear a certain melody or multiple melodies for different songs, can you pick one and say, okay, that's a pop melody and that's a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I imagine a musicologist can explain this really well because I can't, because I don't have that knowledge. But I think there's this idea of a way that a certain melody hits the note, right? Say a vocal melody hitting the supporting notes under it, right? The music, that coming together where that leads to your feeling something, right? Because it's sometimes you can sing a melody and then it just sounds fine, but then you put that music with it and it's whoa, it's a magical explosion almost, and I think people feel that, where say in a record that's not so, there's melody there, but it's not meeting what's going on in the record in the same kind of way, then there's no kind of spark created. I think that's what it is. It's like a match to a what do you call that other part? The matchbook part, right? When those two, it's you can have the match and you can have the matchbook, but they never meet, right? And so it'll okay, fine. But then when those matches and matchbook continue to meet and cause the spark, that's melodic magic that I look for in pop music. And I think we are all wanting out of pop music, which is why certain pop records that can, strike that match just right will stay with us for a long time.
I think it's when I'm listening to a Michael Jackson record, for example, the idea of the song is to bring out, you have the verse here, you have the chorus, got some harmonies in there, the sweetness of it, the texture of it. And then you have a Wu-Tang record where it's just the grimy and grittiness of it. It's not about, or Rakim, it's mostly just about, it's not about, okay, we have this melody here, this chorus here.
It's not about that.
Right.
Yeah,
even though
different.
It's there, but that's not the focus of it.
Exactly, that's not the focus. Yeah.
The James Brown record that, Rakim sampled, that has a melody to it. But the overall song that he's crafting, it's not about, even though he has a song, check out my melody. It's it's ironic, right? But the idea, he's not trying to harmonize with Eric B. You know what I mean?
Totally. No, I mean, it's a totally different world. And I mean, that's why hip hop is so interesting, because hip hop is also very aware of the need for melody, which is why they're sampling from all of these great records, right? It's like, oh, we want that hook. Is a hook, right? We want a hook. We need a hook. So it's taking from that, that stuff and reworking it in a new context. But I don't know. I don't get excited about that so much, because I'm just constantly looking for new melodies. That I want to be where the melodies are.
Yeah.
Essentially.
And I think I'm the same way, but I find it in many different places.
Right.
When I'm listening to like a Ty Segall record, that dude, homie, is all about melody.
Okay. Yeah, see, I don't listen to him, so I don't really know.
Oh man, I think you would love him just from that perspective, because the reason why I like him so much, because he has a lot of melody. He has a lot of harmony and melody. Yeah, he has a lot of scorching riffs, but I see the beauty. I see past the fuzziness.
Totally.
And I'm picking out the beauty in it.
Yeah.
Like
My Bloody Valentine, it's all melody, but it's so, I mean, it's like a wall of sound of melody. And it's not in the same way as Michael Jackson, but yet it's still there.
Right.
So I'm with you that it's like there's so many different ways of doing it, right? It doesn't have to be just a obvious like verse, chorus, melody sitting on top of the music and harmonies coming in like Michael Jackson does it. There's many different ways. But it's also very hard to do it well, I think. So I'm always very discerning. It's like, I see what you're trying to do there, but you haven't nailed it, And I think there's a lot of also, because of, say, the nature of new, like wanting things new all the time, and the amount of blogs that are out there, and their amount of humans that are out there wanting to promote things, people I think get overexcited about things that don't deserve excitement. I feel like I can spot the artists that I know next year, like no one's going to care about them, that it's all image. I mean, say one of those artists to me is FKA Twigs. I think she's terrible. You know
what it is about? There's something about her.
It's Emperor's New Clothes. There's nothing there.
Right. And I think she is talented. She has a talent.
She's a great dancer.
But
great voice.
When I'm listening to some of her songs, especially her new album, I'm just hearing. I can't pull anything from it. You
there's
know what
nothing.
I mean?
There's nothing.
Exactly.
It's just air, and it's like
it's air.
Yeah, and she's saying,
right.
"Here's beautiful air that we're gonna market so brilliantly that you're gonna think I'm really deep, that you're gonna think I have a lot to say, that you're gonna buy into my like ballet and my beautiful performance and my amazing looking face, and the whole package. But when you go and dig into the package, it's air." There's
so nothing there.
Yeah, and I'm so against that, and actually I find that really offensive. There are a lot of artists like that. I don't want to just pick on her.
Yes.
And because it does nothing to us. Like air meeting us is gives us so little, but like melodic magic, certain rhythms, certain styles, like that stuff is like that's the meat that you just want to sink into, bite into every day.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to ask you about like pop as a genre, but I want to bring up Cocteau Twins, for example.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Fraser, like it's all about, with her, it's about the sound, not what is being said. And she's cultivating just, man, it's magic.
Yeah.
And then I'm listening to Young Thug and Gunna and those guys, and they're doing a similar thing.
Okay, I don't know them.
Oh man, like
they're doing a similar thing to Elizabeth Fraser?
Yeah, because
really?
They're saying things.
Okay.
It's not about what they're saying.
It's not. Oh, it's about just like the words.
They're creating a sound.
Yes.
It's such a unique
I'm so
sound.
curious now.
Yeah, and like with Young Thug, like.
Okay.
It's kind of uncomfortable. The first time I heard him, I'm like, this is awful. But then he made some songs. I'm like, okay, this is really cool. Like I like what you're doing, and your sound sticks out. It's not about what you're saying.
Words.
Or Future is another example. It's not about what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're cultivating a sound.
Yeah, I love that. That's so
it.
free. That's like. I mean, Elizabeth Fraser's like made up language. It's like you don't even care.
I don't know what she's saying.
Who cares?
Yeah.
It's like but that's. I mean, I'm with you on that, because I'm not like lyrics to me are. When they're great, they're great. Most lyrics are not great, but the melodies, it's like you can sing, yesterday, da 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 da, but you can also go da 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 da, whatever it is, and that'll be as good as yesterday. Like I'm happy with the da da das because they're conveying a musical message,
yeah,
and the melodic message. The melodic message is so much more interesting. So that's what Elizabeth Fraser's doing, just conveying a melodic message. Who cares whether it's done through like yada bottle da 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 da.
Yeah, it's like scatting.
Yeah.
Like scatting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in the hip hop world there's like a divide. Like, oh, there's no lyrics anymore. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, it's there. It's just with hip hop music, there's people that are just cultivating a sound, and there's people that are like they're trying to move you with their words.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think both can coexist very well, and I think it just opens up the floodgates of music and creativity. So, pop music as a genre. Is it a genre or is it an idea? Because what we were talking about, like it's concepts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So is it like when you go to a record store, should pop have a category?
I don't think so. I think it's because anything to me with melody is pop, and I think what is now the pop genre is so awful. It's like, it's what people think pop is, and that means super glossy, overproduced, usually like a high-pitched vocal that can be kind of annoying. Really kind of a lot of obvious melodic lines, and this is also vast. Like in the pop genre, there's Madonna and Beyonce and great artists that are making great pop records, and there's a lot of bad. I feel especially now there's so many people making pop music because pop is in some ways not cool again, but it's kind of like there's a big indie scene of pop music, and I think a lot of that pop music is quite bad because it's just thinking, oh, we want to make it real, like open to commercial ears, but like they don't get what that's not the essence of pop. The essence of pop is quality melody, and like tapping into an emotional place. So pop is a genre. I mean, I actually hate it. I use that word as an umbrella for anything melodic. So that's one reason why I use the word, to kind of bring it back to its element, And so when I use it with certain people, I'm like, oh, I love pop music. They look at me like, you're a record collector and you love pop music. Like, it's like that snobbery comes in a little bit, like, ugh, like how lame. But I'm like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, James Brown is pop music. A lot of this kind of great Middle Eastern stuff from the 70s is pop music. Yeah, you call it funk or whatever, or disco, but like these are pop records. So I think pop has a terrible name because it's been cast in a very narrow place that has defined a lot of very bad, vapid music. So I consider everything I play on my show pop music. And I'm sure people would, prefer to call it cooler terms like funk, soul, or disco, which is, allowed. In cooler circles.
But what happens when, like a band like Nails, for example, who makes really grimy, hardcore music, what happens if that hits number one? That becomes a big hit. And Nails, their music has almost no melody at all. It's just brutal, right in your face. And there's
so is that then nothing. Pop?
Right.
Because it's popular. I mean, that's the thing. There are holes in all of these arguments, rightfully, because it's never definable, right? I mean, we are in a period, and have been for a long time, where there's a lot of difficult music that is popular, that is not necessarily melodic. So is that pop music? Yeah, maybe. But that's you can continue to unpack, and we use these terms because we're humans and it's easier to be able to categorize something, but the categories are meaningless in a way too also. Right. So now I have no idea. Now pop is so vast that I can't even contain it.
I think that's it. I think that's the answer.
Yeah.
That it's not definable, and I think it's really just concepts of songs that we like the general public understands as what a song is. And that whatever that is becomes popular, like melody.
Yeah.
That is always going to be, at least right now, going to be the focal point in music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The first thing that you're going to hear, is it hummable? Is the melody, the harmonies, whatever, vocals, etc. Whatever it is, can you pick it out? I think, is there room for like an obscure, curveball in there? Probably.
Yeah.
Like Billie Eilish is making music that's like out of this world, but she has this pop core.
Oh she's a melody writer through and through, and a brilliant one. Yeah. I mean, she's she's doing pop music right. That's what I think. I mean, she's one of the ones that is really up there. I mean, most people are not melodically as skilled as she is.
And she's young. She's 18.
I know. It's funny. It's like that skill, I feel, has nothing to do with gender, age, color of your skin, anything. To me, it is a spirit. It's the spirit speaking. And I know this sounds friggin' crazy, but it's like, is that spirit in you capable of whatever wants to work through? Are you capable of that spirit coming through you and bringing that out? And you either are or you're not, right? And people think that they are. They think, oh, I'm a really skilled guitar player. I'm a great producer. No. Melody and that stuff coming through you is a whole other thing. Like that is nothing to do with even skill. It has nothing to do with skill. So it's just, I think it's magic. And can magic work through you or not? And so we have those people where magic clearly works through them, like a Michael Jackson. And we have those that think magic works through them and present as if magic works through them, but there's no magic, their pop records are there, but they're not good. They're not making your heart soar.
Right. And I think for me, maybe it's the same for you. There's little things about a song. It may not have anything to do with the chorus or the melody. Like something about the song just kind of pops out at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We
a little bit of it.
Yeah, and this is shared. What I love about Spotify, and I love that, that you can see the listens and like how many people listen, and you can listen to a record and what song on that record is going to get the most listens. Why do you know that? Because that song, there's something, that magic in there that's going to connect with us all. I mean, music is a connecting force. So, we think that like, oh, we're so individual in this, but like, no, we all agree that Billie Jean, Michael Jackson is the bloody best record. It's undeniable. Most of us agree, and like a lot of us, and that's a big chunk of people. And you can't fool people. You can fool them for a bit and feed them like, yeah, this artist is presented as super cool or this or that, but like they're gonna get exposed as not magicians at some point.
Yeah, we're gonna see like who's gonna fall through the cracks.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of the problem. Maybe it's not a problem, but what happens is people get wrapped up in an image.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like what somebody looks like and what they're saying on social media, but the music itself. What about the music?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, like Billie Eilish, perfect example.
Yeah.
Her image is that she has no image.
The best.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, how refreshing, you know? Image is so boring.
Yeah.
I find it, it's like.
It's imaginary.
Yeah, it is. And you cannot paint something that is not at its essence quality. You cannot put enough stuff on it to make it quality. No matter how much you dress it up, no matter how much money goes into it, you cannot polish a turd.
No, you can't polish a turd.
Even if that polish might be really friggin' high quality.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work. And but we're in such a culture that believes that we're so image obsessed, and we can buy into the fakeness for so long, and then
right.
And I feel like people are really hungry for quality music. I feel like there's not a lot of artists that are high level enough making magic. It's fine. There's a lot of fine stuff, but it's not like, whoa, we're not hit over the head with like brilliance like we've been, we were a while ago.
I think there's a lot of stuff that's wowing me, but I think what is wowing you is subjective.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But I think, like, back to image, I think that's country music's problem. Country music's problem is that it has an image, has stereotypes and images associated with it.
Yeah.
Like, it's very white male oriented. There's a lot of trucks, pickup trucks, whatever. Like, that image is plaguing it.
Yeah.
At least from a radio standpoint. Because I love, one of my favorite albums of 2019 is a country record, The High Women. And have you listened to The High Women?
I think I did, and I didn't like it very much.
I love The High Women. And I don't even love country like that. And I'm going back and I'm listening to Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
And she wrote some great
Oh my God.
songs.
Dolly Parton is in a whole other category.
You know what I mean?
She's, to me, is the queen of it all. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I love Dolly Parton.
I think we get wrapped up in what people look like or what their stereotypes are. Is the same thing in hip hop too. Some people don't like quote unquote mumble rap, but like I ask people, like, who are these people that are so offensive to you that are mumbling? Who are they? Let me know who these people are.
Yeah.
Because what I think, and I think there was a study done years ago that people who were born after 1975, I think, are more likely to slur their speech. Like, like what I've noticed that younger people, they speak really fast in their words. Like, I'm guilty of it sometimes.
Yeah.
They kind of slur their speech a little bit, and maybe there's more that I'm missing to that. But I think a lot of young artists that are just quote unquote mumbling, they're not mumbling. It's just that's the way they speak.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the term sophistopop? Have you heard that before?
No, I've never heard that.
Never
before.
heard that?
What is it used for? Who?
I honestly don't know, but I think there's I think I don't know. My belief is that it's probably associated with artists that make pop music that aren't really super popular,
right?
Or not
that makes
adhering
sense.
to
like
you know
left
what I mean?
field pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've never heard that term, sophistopop?
No. But it's
it's
just
stupid. It's a stupid term.
Yeah, it's kind of saying like this is quality
pop music is
right?
not sophisticated. It's
so I don't really like that because I feel like why pop music is sophisticated, just like there's some unsophisticated pop music, just like in any genre, you know. So it's a little. I mean, we're humans. We come up with terms. It's fun. It can kind of categorize things to make it easier. Like, but whatever.
Right. So what are some artists now that you're totally loving?
My favorite artist of the actually not 2000s. Maybe let's say from 2010s on, because I think the best artist of this entire century so far has been Amy Winehouse.
She's remarkable.
Yeah, but I love Kadia Bonet. She's an LA-based. I'm going to call her a pop singer. But, she's been categorized as R&B, and she's been categorized as psychedelic. Psychedelic soul, which is, I think those two words are beautiful, so we can call her a psychedelic soul artist. She is about to have birth, so I don't think she's going to be about to give birth. I don't think she's going to make music for maybe a little while. But she's making such intriguing records. They're very melodic, but yet very spacey and hard to grasp at the same time. I see her every time she comes to New York. She played on my show in like very early days, so I just can't believe that I got to have who I think is one of the most talented artists on my show. She just sang on a record with Nicolas Godin, who's one half of the group Air. So his record came out yesterday. Her voice is just phenomenal. And when she sings live, she does covers of like, she does a cover of Yesterday. She does a cover of Diana Ross's Missing You. She does a song called Remember the Rain, which is like an old New Jack Swing song. She's so good, but it's like she's going to get there. I mean, she's like, she's going to reach those high levels, but she's still making music that's a little bit avant-garde. And I feel like just a little bit more pop, a little bit more kind of little less difficult, little smoother. I think, she'll just hit it. But I don't know. I'm kind of obsessed with her.
Okay.
So, Kadia Bonet. I love an artist also from LA named Bedouin. She's a folk singer. She was, born in Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
And she's Syrian, or maybe born in Syria, moved to Saudi Arabia. I don't know what her story. No, she's Saudi Arabian, and then went to Syria, and then came to LA, and she's making Americana records. So there's not even a hint of Middle Eastern any Middle Eastern sound in her writing, but lyrically she's really beautiful. Just great Americana. God, L'Impératrice from France, I love. U.S. Girls. Oh, my God. U.S. Girl. Do you listen to her?
A little bit, yeah.
I'm obsessed with her. Wow. She's doing things that are just bonkers. I mean, she's in her own category. Live show is unbelievably great.
Yeah, I've heard that. Like, she's great live.
She's so great live. Oh my God, there's so many artists. This is what I do on my show every week. This group from Canada named Tops, they just released a fabulous single called I Feel Alive.
Yeah.
It's so sprightly and exciting. Yeah.
Do you know Rina Sawayama?
I do. And I don't like the new stuff I'm hearing.
Really?
Nope.
You didn't like Comme des Garçons?
No.
You didn't like
I listened to it 2 days ago.
I liked
play
it.
it on my show. I'm like, oh, no.
I loved it.
You
I
did,
liked it.
yeah. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It doesn't melodically. It doesn't hit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very enthusiastic, wild sounding record, but
Yeah.
it doesn't hit those sweet spots for me.
Do you know I liked Flicker. Flicker was really good.
I
Remember
liked
that song?
Flicker too.
Very good.
That's the record I loved.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
by her. I'm with you.
Ordinary Superstar. That was a really good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very she's very influenced by like a lot of the pop from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
She loves a lot of that stuff. You could tell.
Yeah.
There's some Spice Girls in there, a little Britney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of that like, I don't know, the Spice Girls were, fun and whatever, but I didn't think they were substantial enough to warrant being influenced by them. And so I think a lot of the artists that are influenced by them, it's just too vapid for me. It's not, it's a little too dumb,
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for me.
Trying to think of other artists that I've been. Well, Suburban Girls, man.
Okay.
She's the one. Well, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I just think her music is just absolutely remarkable.
Yeah.
What are some albums that you're looking forward to this year? Some of your anticipated.
Well, the U.S. Girls album.
Oh, U.S. Girls, okay.
Like counting the days. Who else? I just got her. Oh my God. I have a whole list of records that I'm like excited about, and now I can't remember them.
I'm looking forward to Rena's album.
You
and
are?
Megan Thee Stallion too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to listen to them with an open mind. I always do, you know. I don't want to not play certain artists on my show, but it has to be good. I mean,
Of course.
There's certain artists where I'm like obsessed with this artist and I'll talk about them on my show and then they'll release a new single and I'm like, ugh, I won't even play it, you know. I'm like, I'm not going to support. I have no loyalty to anybody unless they make great
see.
records. Yeah.
Do you know Caroline Polachek?
I do.
Did you like her album?
I don't like her album, but I
Okay.
love two of the songs off it.
Yeah.
I
Which ones?
love So Hot You're Hurting My Feelings,
Yeah.
Killer, and I love Door.
Door's great. Love Door.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
just the fact that she does a chorus, like such a repeat. The
Yep.
door, look at the
Yeah,
door, look at
I
the
love
light,
that.
and I'm running through.
Yeah, it's
Oh my
beautiful.
God. That to me that's a record of the pop record of the future. Disappointed in her album though.
I didn't like the album either. I thought it was kind of boring.
Boring.
Yeah,
No
a
magic.
little boring.
The magic is in those two songs, especially Door.
Yeah. I did like the last Chairlift album.
I did too.
Moth. It was so
yes.
beautiful. Moth
We
to
had
a Flame.
Romeo was like
Romeo
my favorite.
was great.
Ah!
Yeah, it was so like boom.
Oh my God. Can I
Yeah.
tell you that I have not had conversation with someone as musically knowledgeable as you about new music. Like really, like there's not one person that I can talk about like the last Chairlift album with and also knows, you know, everything else you're talking about. It's amazing. Damn. Can you come to WFMU, please?
I actually unofficially met Caroline Polachek
Oh, you did.
at the Googa Mooga Festival in Prospect Park,
Oh,
2013. Yeah.
Okay. What
They
was
had
she
it-
like?
Well, I didn't like. It was weird because Chairlift was doing a DJ set, right? And there wasn't a lot of people there. And she was like, "Hello," and I said, "Hi." I waved.
Yeah.
And then later on, I think the Flaming Lips were going on, or maybe it was between Flaming Lips and Yeah Yeah Yeahs, or no, between the Darkness and the Flaming Lips.
Okay.
And she was walking by, and I was in the front row. And I waved to her, and she recognized, and I waved to her. I waved back, and she had a drink in her hand. She was like, "You want some?" No, she didn't say anything.
Okay.
She gestured, and I was like, "No." But because I don't drink, but that was a cool interaction.
That
I don't
is
think
cool.
if I ever meet her, I don't think she'll ever remember that at all.
Right.
But it was just a cool interaction.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a great songwriter and she's doing interesting things. Here's another. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think she has an album due out this year, but I'm always hoping she puts out an album every year, and that's Janelle Monáe, who's like, I'm obsessed with her.
Her last album.
It was so good. That
Incredible.
song "Screwed" it was so fun. Well,
Yep.
there's a record that I had a hard time playing on my show because it's
Yeah.
like you know, we're screwed. Let's get screwed. You fucked it all now, or something. We fuck it all back down. But I played the clean version a lot. I love that record.
The album closer on the last album. What was it? American.
Oh my God, I love that
great.
song.
Yeah, channeling a whole lot of Prince.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you know, that's my only problem is like, I think she's good enough not to need to be so Prince. Like she can be her
get
own
it.
person. I mean, even when you see her live, she is Prince. Like every move she makes, her outfits. I mean, it's just like, you're Janelle Monáe. Like you are fucking amazing. Like
Yes.
you don't need to, like we had Prince. You are you. Like own that shit. That's how I feel a little bit about her, but I love her.
Pink was a great song too.
What?
Pink.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So in that video,
Oh, it was so great.
man.
was incredible.
And just seeing her live, she's such a good live performer.
I had to see her live.
You have
I missed her
do
at the Hulu
not
Theater.
Sit on her.
Oh,
you
my
gotta
God.
get those tickets immediately. I've been so lucky. I saw her on her first albums tour when I was living in London.
Yeah.
I was like, this woman is phenomenal. And then it like took a while for her to make another record. She takes a little bit of time in between her records.
That's
and now-
great.
Yeah. But it's like, I just want more. I want a new single by her every day.
Yeah. I think the first time I heard her, do you remember B.O.B.?
Oh, the artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she was on his first album.
Oh.
And they did like a different version of the Vampire Weekend song.
Okay.
The fuck was it called? I forgot the name of it. Shit,
Oh,
but
so
if
she was a feature on that.
yeah,
Okay.
and I was blown away. I'm like, wow, who's that? And yeah,
the
I've
whole
been in love
package.
ever since. Yeah.
Nuts about her.
So what are some trends in music that you're noticing that you love and don't love?
I am noticing an abundance of mediocre melodies, that people think that they're hitting the sweet spot and they're not. So I'm noticing certain vocal styles that I find extremely irritating, like the female wispy folk voice that I can't stand. It's so narcissistic to me, that voice, because I feel like they're singing to themselves and they're like, oh my God, look how like precious and gentle and like beautiful I am. And it's like, it's not about, they're not giving anything. It's like they're holding up a mirror and singing to themselves. I find it so narcissistic. So I hate that wispy, it tends to be like the wispy white girl voice, a lot of British artists sound like that. And then there's this kind of really piercing pop voice that I also don't like, but I know a lot of people like it. So most kind of left field pop records I can't listen to that are coming out now because of that voice. And it's just very grating. It's, I don't even know if I could imitate it. It's just like, it's almost like Valley Girls style. It's like oh my God, like, really like not, I don't know. It's just too piercing, and I wish I could think of an example of an artist.
Charlie XCX is guilty of that sometimes.
At
some points. Not all
yeah,
of it.
at some points. But yeah, I don't like that voice. It's
Gaga does it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
It's an vocal affectation, and I feel when you have a vocal affectation, you're putting a wall between you and your listeners. Like, you be you. And I know that's hard. Like, being yourself is one of the hardest things, one of the biggest challenges of humanity. Because
Taylor Swift does it sometimes too.
Yeah. It's just like, it's just off-putting. I don't know what it is, But, there are trends. It's like, say, after Amy Winehouse, every single singer tried to sound like that. And they all sounded terrible.
Dude.
Right? It was awful.
Man.
Everyone's like that. Whatever voice they're trying to be, it's like Amy Winehouse was being Amy Winehouse. Yes, she sounded like a lot of soul singers before her, but she was not being disingenuous. You knew that when you were hearing her sing. Everyone else is just trying to copy, and the artists that are trying to copy Beyonce, just the copying and the lack of, authenticity in vocals is really sad to me.
There's wearing your influences on your sleeve and there's putting on their t-shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's a certain vocal style that gets on my nerves and I can't describe it, but it's breathy and there's a lot of like over enunciated vowels towards the end of every phrase, and it's nauseating. I almost can't listen to it.
Yeah.
And I hate to throw her under the bus, but Jessie Reyez does it sometimes. You know Jessie Reyez?
No.
Okay, but that's an example.
Okay.
But I like Jessie Reyez, but some of her songs are unlistenable because I hate that vocal style. And it's not just her; it's plenty of other artists that do it.
Yeah.
And I can't stand it.
Right.
I just can't stand it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Who did that song Psycho, that like massive top 10 hit? Like, you're so psycho. I forgot the name of it, but it's just so, it's like, it's a good song. It's a fine song. It's a well-written pop song, but just the vocal, it's just dumb.
I don't know.
It's a dumb sounding vocal. I don't like that. I mean, if you're doing dumb in like a cheeky way, like say like, who's that girl that did that bass, that beat, that
Meghan
all
Trainor?
about that bass, right?
Meghan Trainor.
Yeah, that's a novelty, like kind of like airhead kind of record, right? But it's a good record. It's a quality pop record, and it was done with like a cheeky kind of wink, right? That's fine. But when you're kind of making these records that you want to be taken seriously, and they're all like, you know, it's just a bit dumb.
Yeah, I get that.
You know, I'm not 12, and a 12-year-old might find it fun, and I totally validate that experience. I don't want to invalidate their liking of something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's all I got, Sheila B.
We dug in.
Yeah, we could have. I have to like contain myself because we can go off on and for hours.
Because I love getting deep about music, and not a lot of people can do that. And like you are like, whoa, you're like right in there, and you're so articulate with everything like, that you're mentioning. Like amazing. That was so fun. I'm like, whoa.
Sheila B. All right, plug your show, whatever else you got going on. Let it fly.
Yeah, my show is called Sophisticated Boom Boom with Sheila B on WFMU. It's every Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go to WFMU.org, playing you the best in female-fronted pop music from the past, present, future, and all over the globe, and the occasional man. And I'm also now writing songs. So I've written 2 songs, 2 co-writes with the band Saint Etienne. I'm writing more for them.
Look at
and
you!
I'm starting my own music project. So
what?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's where I'm putting all my.
You know what? My standards are gonna be over here.
I'm setting myself up.
Yeah, how you come at music, how you come at artists, man, you gotta bring it.
You gotta bring it. That's the only way.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's I've never, I was in a band when I was like 15, but I've never been a creator. It's always been an enthusiast and a champion. So this is my first time stepping in the creative spot. And the first 2 co-writes I wrote were for Saint Etienne, and they've been released. So I think I can do it.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm so happy for you,
Thank
Sheila.
you.
Wow. Oh my God. Level 46, My Little Underground. I'm Peter A. Don't forget to subscribe on all podcast platforms and follow me on all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. It's Peter_A. And you can follow the show as well, My Little Underground, at MLU Pod, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. All right. Thank you again, Sheila.
Thank you. That was fabulous.
Peace out.